What's going on, everybody? It's another fresh spotlight. Today we have this man right here. He's a partner at CF Event Group. It's Nick Ciufo, DJ Ciuf, my man Nick. It's so cool to have you here today. What's going on, Nick?
What's up, my brother? How are you? Chucky No Cheese. What's popping, brother?
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yo, so let me tell you real quick how I came across Nick. He actually hosted a bridal show for Elegant Bridal up North Jersey, and I saw him on doing a great job. He kind of posted some stuff on his social media. I went ahead and kind of took a look. I said, I like this guy's energy. I need to have a conversation with him. I message him literally once I see it. I'm on a gig. He hits me back. All of a sudden, I'm able to step away for about 15, 20 minutes and had a great conversation to the point where I think I started falling in love with this kid.
Right.
I love his story, and I kind of just want you all to sort of hear about Nick and what he's got going on. And, you know, he's a hype man. He's a fitness guy. He's a DJ. He's a production guy. He's somebody doing some really cool things, and he's someone who I know Fresh New Angle wants to be aligned with. I think that we could do some really cool things moving forward, whatever that looks like. But at the end of the day, I want to be able to kind of really hear your story again.
Yeah.
You know, and Nick, you know, I want you to sort of tell me really again, kind of how you got into what you're doing with regards to the entertainment side of things, and of course, and the fitness side of things, which are both industries that I love and adore as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's a beautiful space. It's a great day. Love being here. Pleasure to connect with you as well. So let me go back to when I was younger, just how I got into entertainment in general.
I love it.
So I always loved music, always loved entertaining people. Started making music when I was like in 8th grade. You know, I was known as like the SoundCloud kid. You know, every high school had that kid who was making the SoundCloud raps. So 8th grade, early high school, I was making music, got a little bit more interested into the production side of it, like the beat making stuff. And I started making beats. Then when I got close to graduating, I wanted to find an avenue that I could take that not per se was more realistic, but that I could make more of like a business like career out of. So I started looking into audio engineering. So I started doing studio audio engineering like late high school. Then I went away to college. I started at County College in Morris. Shout out to CCM, great school. Did 2.5 years of there studying music technology and entrepreneurship. So I was doing a lot of studio work, doing a lot of production, film scoring, all stuff that had to do with like the recording. And I was also, because it was part of the curriculum, I was taking like music, like performance classes. So I was even performing in like the choirs and stuff. I was doing piano lessons, like all 9 yards that had to do with music. And around this time, I also started posting on social media. I started my Proud Ciuf account, and I was making music. I was sampling literally anything that I could find. I would sample toys at Walmart. I would sample my dishwasher. I would turn it into a beat. I would rap on it, freestyle. Eventually, I got traction from Hot 97, actually, and they posted a challenge when Biggie got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame called the Big Pepsi Freestyle Challenge. This is going way back. I'm 24 now. This is when I was 18. So it was like you had to rap on a verse on a beat sponsored by like Pepsi, and they had like March Madness style bracket voting. I made it past rounds and rounds. I had everyone in my town voting for me. Eventually made it to the finals where they sent one final beat. We had to record a song overnight. I ended up winning, and they announced that I was a winner on Ebro in the next morning. So I remember I was like, that show starts at like 5 a.m. So I was up super early, waiting, half falling asleep for them to finally like announce my name. And it was cool. I got an interview on Zoom with DJ Enough, one of the heavy hitters, talked with him. And this kind of started like the journey of slowly building traction in entertainment. Now, I hadn't gotten into live events yet. This is just more of the music creation, Then I started online. I started a business where I was mixing and mastering all people's vocals and music, and I was sending beats to people. And, you know, it was just like a little side business while I was in college. Then after I graduated from CCM, I went away to Rowan University. Shout out to Rowan. Amazing school. Music technology program was absolutely incredible. So I was studying music technology and entrepreneurship again, but this was more geared towards live events. So I was studying live sound and putting my own events together for capstone projects and learning the live event aspect of production. So around this time, I started working for other event companies. So my first like professional taste in the industry, I think I was like 20. I started working for a more like corporate style AV company. So I was literally just a roadie. I would go, I would set up speakers, I would assist the audio engineer. I did assistant audio engineer training. So I was like one of their A2s. And man, because I'm from Belvedere, New Jersey, which if people know Jersey, honestly, they probably never heard of it. Very small town, beautiful town, right next to the Delaware Water Gap. It's very far from like all this type of work. So I was making any trip that I could just to learn. I remember I drove from Belvedere to Wildwood, which is literally across the entire state, just to break down the Barefoot Country Music Festival that we did a little tent in. So I drove from my house over the summer down to Wildwood for a couple $100 to be a stagehand to help break down speakers.
Let me stop there for a
Please,
minute.
because I'll go forever
no,
if you
this
don't.
is fantastic because I want to kind of parlay that into, I love the hustle. And so my thing is this, here you are, 20 years old, right? A couple of years out of, well, still in college, but kind of out of it and learning what you're learning. But here you are taking what you believe to be a solid education and, some great knowledge. And it sounds like you didn't get paid a whole heck of a lot, but you understood the hustle was most important.
Yeah,
and I want to
absolutely.
stress that to anybody trying to break into any industry or try to move and grow. I don't believe you can come in there just expecting or demanding the big bucks.
No, never.
And it sounds like you were willing to put in the work to get paid minimal, but you're getting experience and you were learning and you were growing and you were gaining information.
Right.
And I want to stress that to anybody who's trying to break in with even working with you or working with us, that there's a process.
Yeah.
And even if you are elevated and advanced, there's a process. And if you put the work in, you do need to be appreciated for what you're doing.
Absolutely.
But you also got to be realistic. We're not coming in with these $1,000 price tags right away. Very cool on you, because this is going to lead me to kind of what's the next part of your story, is that ultimately here you are putting in the work, driving 3 hours one way in the summer, breaking down for a couple $100. And I know you're being modest because I know it wasn't a whole heck of a lot, and driving back 3 hours, right? So you're on the job for 10, 12 hours. And you hourly rate, you definitely weren't paid no hourly rate, but you got it done. And guess what? You probably did that for a little while, and then I'm going to let you kind of continue on, because this is that entrepreneur mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. And just even before I continue to tag along with what you're saying, like a lot of people, like it's hard to find the in between when you're young between busting your butt and then being taken advantage of. And that I'll get into that part of my story, but that's really where you have to find the fine line. You can't go into any type of industry, even if you got a degree in it or whatever, expecting to be top of the line, because at the end of the day, they could teach you as much as they want in school, but you're not really truly learning until you're out in the field and you're out getting your hands dirty and anything, blue collar work, white collar work, entertainment, anything along that lines. And I learned that quick with the work that I was doing. But so let me continue. So I was working for this production company, awesome company, learned a lot as a stagehand. And at the same time, I was DJing. So I was DJing small events, my friends' sport clubs, some of the Greek life stuff. And I started working for not only like AV production companies, but like DJ entertainment companies. So big companies that did weddings, and I would be the assistant DJ and understand that side of the gear and the special effects stuff and the different DJ controllers and the different softwares that I wasn't exactly getting when I was working with the AV company. So it was the best of both worlds. Fast forward a little bit, my last year of college, when you finish at Rowan, you need to do something called like a capstone project. My business partner, Sean, he hasn't even graduated yet, and he's already doing amazing things, and he's in the process of doing his right now. Basically, what it is you have to do one real project like in the music industry. So some kids recorded albums and singles, some people had events, and what I wanted to do was host my own artist showcase, and I performed at a bunch of artist showcases. I performed at the American Dream Mall with one. I performed at House of Independence in Asbury at one, some other smaller spots in Jersey. And I always kind of felt like, and no disrespect to the business, but they were a bit of like a money grab and kind of taking advantage of like the artists. Like, you got to sell these amounts of tickets for a chance to win whatever. And there was even some I won, and I still felt like, maybe it was a little unfair. So I wanted to have my own artist showcase that really like, gave love to the artists and like gave back to them. So fast forward, during this whole planning process, I was chosen out of the music program to be part of an ASCAP production workshop. ASCAP does all like the copywriting and music and stuff. So I was chosen with one other person in the program. Shout out to Cade. He was dope. And we basically had to produce a song from scratch with these other artists in like a workshop over the course of like 2 weeks. And we worked virtually with everyone. So I was in like my college dorm and my little setup with my piano. And I was working with one rapper. His name was Prefix, and he still watches my content, so shout out to Prefix if he's seeing this. And another amazing singer named Shalia Nicole, I believe I'm saying her name right. Shout out to her as well. We're still in contact a little bit. Hope you're doing well. Shalia was actually in a McDonald's commercial with Kai Cenat, so she's a super incredible singer. Prefix was a dope rapper. He ended up just doing like songwriting on this, but we had a team of 3, and along with our team of 3, we had a mentor, and my mentor was Eric Roberson. Shout out to Eric. He's a 2-time Grammy-nominated R&B singer who works with ASCAP. Incredible guy. Love all of his music. And we would all meet virtually and produce this track, and I made everything from scratch. Shalia recorded the vocals on the back of a tour bus that she was touring on. And I produced the track. I mixed it in my dorm room. There was only 3 groups out of this competition, and I ended up placing 3rd. So technically I was last, but I won a team leader, like songwriter award. And I actually ended up winning like $3,000 from it. And man, I was a college kid in my dorm. So I'm like, oh my God, like this is amazing.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it was awesome. And to any artist, anyone in a creative space, like the first time you make any type of decent money, even when I would make $10 off of mixing like a track when I was 18, like it's still crazy, it's a whole different type of feeling. So
well, real quick, because you took something out of nothing, and created something of value.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that's entrepreneurship.
Oh, let's go. You feel a need, and boom, there it is. So I'm proud of you. Keep it
Thank you,
rolling.
man. I appreciate it. So fast forward, and why this ties into the ASCAP thing is when I was having my event, I wanted to make it like special for these artists. So me and Eric Roberson, we stayed in contact after the whole ASCAP thing, and he happened to live in Jersey right by Rowan, and he ended up completely for free, just taking time out of his day as a busy father, busy husband, family man. He came out to the event for free to judge all of the artists. So he was a special guest judge. And not only that, I think the prize pool for first place was like $300, right? He came and he matched that. So he came, he talked to all of these artists that were performing. he spit real knowledge. He was taking real notes in the back on every single person's performance. He didn't come and he was kind of BS and wanting to get out of there, put his heart and soul into it. And on top of that, he matched the prize money, and he stayed and connected with my family and told his story. Him and my dad were talking. Like, it was a crazy, dope experience, an awesome way to end my, college career in that sense. And after that, I was like, you know what? I'm ready to take a step into the professional field.
I like this, Eric.
Yeah.
I can't wait to meet him someday. That's cool. I love it.
Yeah, he was awesome. I hope if he sees it,
Yeah.
if he sees this, I would love to have another conversation with him.
We'll reach out to him. Sounds like a great human.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Oh, great guys. So anyway, I'm getting close to graduating now because that was a capstone project. And every year, Rowan University has a career fair. And I'm showing a lot of love to Rowan because coming from Belvedere, and there's not a lot of this work out there, like, I really started my career off because of their music technology program. My first job, the corporate company I worked for, that was through them. Like, they have a great program over there, and I'm not being biased just because I went there. So I went to the career fair, and they have a bunch of different career fairs, but the music technology one specifically, I go back there to speak at their alumni panel often. But this is where I found my first job, and it was for a production entertainment company in Philly. Now, the cool thing about this spot was it was a big, like, warehouse that had a couple different companies within it. So there was one company that did mostly bar and bat mitzvahs, like celebration events, one company that did weddings, one company that did corporate AV, and then like a decor company. And I work for all three, the wedding one, the corporate AV one, and I work for the bar and bat mitzvah one. So I would MC and do event hosting for the weddings and the bar and bat mitzvahs on the weekend, do like school events throughout the week. And then I was in a event specialist / like production warehouse worker. So when I first started there, they just put me in the warehouse. I was getting hands on like all of the gear. And if especially your viewers watching this, they understand like the packing and like the loading of trucks and vehicles, like that is not easy work, man. The late nights, people think of a DJ as, you pull up, you plug your laptop in and you start rocking. It's like that's the fun part.
Right.
That's the part that makes this job so amazing, right? The part that, obviously we have passion for it, but is the most difficult is prepping the gear. It's, building the truss. It's, doing all the heavy lifting and the transportation of equipment.
Wire management,
cable management, and that was all the stuff that I got thrown into hands on. I mean, I was in a warehouse, it'd be like 100 degrees and I'm painting stages on blacktop, like the bar mitzvah stages that the kids would dance on. Like, messing my fingers up in the base plates and stacking them and restacking hardware and like just all the different types of work that you have to do if you really want to learn the industry.
I got to stop you there because I'm looking at your eyes right now and it's like PTSD.
Yeah,
brother.
yeah, seriously.
It's because I know it. And listen,
Yeah.
I'm 45 now and I remember being in your shoes and I'm
Yeah.
it's awesome. I love the realness that
Absolutely.
you have, and I got that from our first conversation.
Yeah.
But so you're putting in the hard work, you're doing the job, and now bring me into you and Sean, and is that Feeney?
Yes.
Bring me into how the CF event group kind of got born.
Yeah, I was honestly right there. I was just about to get there. First of all, shout out to Feeney. It's his birthday today.
Yo, happy birthday, Feeney. I know when you see this, it's probably not your birthday, but we love you, brother. Happy birthday.
We love you, bro. Happy 21st. 21st, man. It's a good one. Well, I'm taking him out.
Let's go.
Family friendly.
That's it.
But so shortly after I started working for this company, I was still always helping the warehouse, but I started taking on not bigger roles, but just a little bit more responsibility. So I started doing more of like the administrative side, and they would actually send me to different venues to rebuild the entire room in 3D. So what we would do is I would go to a room, let's say it's this room in here. I would take a laser measure every wall, measure the ceiling, take pictures and video, and I would rescale it to a scaled model with our equipment in it. And that's what we would do to like send quotes out. Like, this is what your production is going to look like. Boom, here it is in 3D, couple different angles, couple different setups. So I was doing that, absolutely loved it. Like I started talking to clients more, and we went back to Rowan to recruit. And when I went to Rowan, we must have talked to like 100 plus kids. And the only one who stood out to me was this kid named Feeney. He came up to our table. He handed me a business card. And I knew he was young at the time. He was like 19 or 18. And I'm like, all right, this kid's got a business card. He's got a website for his like freelance audio engineering services. I put a star on his name. I didn't even have to look at the other 100 kids that we talked to, because I was like, this kid is special. So immediately we went back to the office. I told the people I work for, yo, I'm showing my higher up his website and his info. I'm like, we got to call this kid. We call him, we bring him in. He's the same way. He's down to get his hands dirty. He's down to build the trust and bust his back. And we're driving home at 2, 3 a.m. from a gig that, you know, we're getting a couple $100 on, but you know, the work was amazing. And the more that I worked with him, the more I realized, I'm like, bro, like, this kid is good, man. And I'm saying kid, I'm only 24, but like, this guy is good. And I always had dreams of starting a production company. Always, ever since I was in high school, I wanted to do some sort of production and create experiences for people. So I'm like, this would be the perfect kid to have as a business partner. Like, let me tell you something about Sean. This kid is building audio racks in his dorm. Like, you should see his basement. It looks like some like go-go gadget type of thing. Like, he has a stage in there and he has full like ensembles perform, and he'll multi-track record all of them. He's got room mics in there. He's got wedge monitors. Like, the kid is legit, and he was young and he's ambitious. And I'm proud of you, bro. I hope you're watching this and you know that I'm proud of you.
Now, hold on one sec.
Absolutely.
I love that at 24 years old, you made a go-go gadget reference.
Right.
That blesses my heart, my friend.
Right.
Because I knew I loved you, but now I love you even more. Because
love you too,
now,
man.
There's a little bit of an old soul to you as
yeah,
well.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got what's happening. You know, you understand obviously that new generation.
Yeah.
But I believe you still have your touch in with the generations that came before you, and I credit that to the way you must have been brought up and the whole thing.
Yeah,
as
shout
well.
out to my family. Amazing.
I love
top
that.
to bottom. But
go ahead.
yeah, so Sean was great. We started working together more, and then we did one gig where we were at the W Hotel for like 3 days.
Hoboken?
No,
Oh,
in Philly.
Oh, Philly. Okay.
We were in Philly because this company was based out of Philadelphia.
Rowan area.
And this was right after like the Eagles won the Super Bowl. I'm a Giants fan, so we don't even got to talk about that. Yeah, see?
What was it? Was it the 2000? Which one? Oh, the one that
The recent one. Yeah, so this was yeah, right.
My kid was born, real shout out. My kid was born literally the day before the Eagles won that first one. I think it was like 2018.
Right.
And I remember filming my kid because he was crying.
Yeah.
And I said,
because the Eagles won.
Charlie, the Eagles just won the Super Bowl. How does that make you feel? And it's just
And
him
he's
going,
crying.
"Wah, wah, wah." And I said, couldn't say it better
Yeah,
myself.
right.
Although I did like Nick Foles. I did
Yeah.
kind of root for that story, and away we go.
Right, yeah. I'm not a hater of
I ain't a
Philadelphia
hater.
fans,
No.
but, you know, we're from Jersey,
That's it.
baby, you know. But, yeah, so the first job I really got to really know him, and where I was like, yo, like, I want to work with this kid. We were at the W Hotel in Philadelphia like days after the Eagles won the Super Bowl. So the city was super hectic, and we were doing like a corporate presentation for like the company that we work for. And me and Sean, we roomed together in the hotel. We stayed there for 3 days, and like every day it was like, you get up early, we hit the hotel breakfast spot, and then we're just going like 12 hours straight, 14 hours straight. And the kid's just like a problem solver, you know, and he's super smart, like tech wise. So all the questions about the audio, and obviously we're the younger guys there overseeing like the lead techs, but you know, I could just tell he was super knowledgeable, and it wasn't even just about what he knew. It was really like the work ethic. You know, he also has an old school like energy to him in terms of like the work. Like, people don't want to get their hands dirty anymore. People don't want to put like the grunt work in that you need to do to learn this industry. You know, you got to know the different cables. You got to know the difference between DMX and XLR. You got to know how to build truss and rig lights. So we just like got super close on that trip, and I'm like, bro, like, we should start our own company. And he was like, yeah, dude, like, you're right. Like, it would be dope. And then every day we started like texting like ideas. And that summer we ended up kind of forming like CF Event Group. We didn't even have a name for it yet. We didn't have an Instagram. And we did our first job. I have friends in Philadelphia who are DJs, and they do private events sometimes. And they like use me as like an MC or for their production. And the first job we did with them, it was some like private party in Villanova, and we set up like speakers. And like the thing with this kid Feeney is like he's always doing stuff you wouldn't think of with the tech. Like, my man's running around with like an outlet tester on everything we're plugging the gear into to make sure they're on separate circuits. And that's when I knew, I'm like, he's locked in. So we did this job. I DJ'd, he just came to like help with setup and record content. And like after, I'm like, bro, like this is it. Like, now we need to make this like a company, right? So a couple weeks after that, it ended up not working out with the company I was in Philadelphia. And I was bouncing back between different companies. So I was working for like a wedding company in Verona, New Jersey, dope people. I did like one shift with a company in like Eatontown, and then I did one shift with a company in Jersey City, and I ended up sticking with the company in Jersey City. So there, I had a little bit more experience. I was doing more like event management, project management, client relations stuff. Still never stepped away from getting my hands dirty and doing the late night truckloads and loading. But, you know, I was taking on more responsibility on the logistical side. So I was actually like talking to clients, selling to them, going on client meetings on my own. I was also DJing, emceeing. Now, this company was a little bit more like a la carte production. They didn't have like a niche in like the bar and bat mitzvahs or weddings. We were just doing everything. So we did a lot of nightlife and big corporate productions. And without getting into too much detail about the establishment, I just started seeing the more higher profile clientele that I would work with, the more like unhealthy like the industry was, you know, coming to fruition. You know, I was realizing, you know, we would do a lot of like nightlife events, big concerts, work with bigger talent. Obviously, I'm not going to say any names, but I just started seeing that, like, I started slowly feeling out of place in an industry that I've been hustling in and that I love for years.
So you came to a crossroads because you saw the side of the entertainment business that is, it's a little unhealthy.
Yeah.
It's a lot unhealthy.
Yeah.
And it's the stuff that leads to habits that could take us down really difficult roads. And this is one of the parts that we had a conversation about briefly that got me really excited too about you because of the health and wellness that's inside here for you. And I think that's where you're going next is basically to kind of tell us about how, all right, I'm at a crossroads, right? Because here it is. I love this business, but I have a bit of an integrity issue. I have a bit of a conflict of what my core is about.
Yeah.
But how do I stay in the industry and do what I believe? Go ahead.
Yeah. So like it was getting to the point where, you know, we would be at these events and while everyone's, and listen, if you want to have a drink, you want to go out and party, I'm not judging anybody because, you know, I was in college as well. But, you know, a lot of people forget when you work professionally in entertainment that you're there to create the party. You know, you're there to create the vibe. You're not there to live in it. And there's a big difference between bringing that energy, creating the party, and then getting sucked into like the negative aspect. And I just started seeing a lot of the times with the people that were around me that it was almost like they didn't really care about like the creating the memorable experience. It was like they just wanted a party. So like when I was at these big concerts, while everyone else that might have been on the crew or associated with whoever wanted a party, you know, I was shazamming every single R&B song to be able to play to a different crowd. You know, I was listening to what the DJ was doing, these big DJs that were amazing at what they do, and seeing what songs work, what songs didn't. And I was like taking notes. I was treating it like homework. And also like I would have my meal prep like in the back of like the green room in the DJ booth. So I and people, they wouldn't like hate on it, but it was always like kind of like a sly comment here and there. So I just started feeling a little bit out of place, like you said, in this industry that we love. And, you know, slowly I was doing small events with now CF Event Group. We finally made an Instagram. I was doing like small like dive bar stuff for like family friends and small like birthday parties and mixing bands and doing production, which is where Feeney came in. The kid is a wizard with mixing bands, and he leads all of like the AV when we do that sort of production. So we had like a little like niche going, you know, small DJ events, small private events, and then like mixing bands. And at this point, you know, I was doing like bigger stuff with my full-time job, and I was still doing like small events on the side, like connecting with awesome people through work that I was doing. And then one day I go into work, and basically, without giving too much detail, I was given the choice between it's either you're going to be working for this company full time, or you could work for your company, and you can't do both. And I got fired for having my own company. And you know, I was upset for like a day because, you know, it's a full-time job. You lost it in a dream industry. But, you know, I slowly realized that it was a blessing, you know, and it allowed me to take a step away from the negativity that the industry, this beautiful industry, could bring, and allow me to focus where I'm going now on something that I believe in heavily with it, which is entertainment and health and wellness. So
Love it.
I've been lifting consistently for over 6 years, never skipped a week unless I was like sick or something. Like I've gotten like 3-day passes on vacations and stuff. Like I always wanted to stay strict because I appreciate the routine that I built, and it's very easy to fall out of it, you know? So the gym and health and wellness became almost like my second job. You know, even when I was working, and a lot of people say, oh, like they don't have time for it. You can make time for it. I was working in Jersey City. It was
that's just an excuse,
right?
At the end of the day, because you said something key there is a routine and consistency, and for success in life. And I was just listening to a podcast on my way over here. Was reiterating the whole, you know, routine and consistency, and almost kind of like in faith. You know, it's faith without works is dead, right? So it's the belief, but then it's also the doing the work part. And so it's the belief in my business, it's the belief in my health and wellness, it's the belief in my ability to entertain in production, but then it's the willingness to then get up and routinely do the work.
Yeah, absolutely. That routine is gonna take you everywhere in business, in relationships, in health and wellness, like that whole aspect. But you know, going back a little, I've been consistently lifting for over 6 years, and I always ate healthier, but around when I was working for this other company, I really started digging deep into just wanting to be as healthy as possible, because I was around like negative spaces and energy that, you know, I didn't vibe with. So I wanted to always keep myself like uplifted, keep myself grounded, but you know, just do stuff that I love. And I powerlifted a little bit at rowing in college. Awesome. And then right when I left college, that's when I really wanted to nail down like my diet. You know, I was just away at college, eating whatever, you know, going out partying. So I really wanted to get serious about not just lifting, but like true health and wellness. So I've been doing that, doing the meal prep stuff. And when I finally, left this company or was forced out, I knew like I wanted to do something that combined entertainment and health and wellness. That's been my two go-to things for years. And that's just like my life, besides, my family and my close friends and career stuff. Health and wellness and entertainment has been my life. So I actually, and shout out to Jazz from Jello Wellness, because she was really the one. Me and her really started building something really cool when we started working together. But the first fitness, like health and wellness event I did was a Pilates class with my friend Jazz. Reached out to me on TikTok just off of like a comment that I left on a post that said that I was a DJ. She DM'd me off of TikTok, of all platforms, and said, hey, like, I'm having this Pilates class. I would love for you to come and DJ. And I'm thinking, like, this is literally the way to start what I've been trying to build. Like, this is a perfect end to start a community based around music, entertainment, and health and wellness. So I remember the first date she gave me, it didn't work out. And then the second date she gave me, it did. And I went out and I DJ'd this Pilates class, and I was making it super fun and entertaining for all the girls. It was an all women's Pilates class. And me and her just connected because she's also my age and an entrepreneur and, starting something from nothing and building community. So that really resonated with me. And ever since then, I've been producing events with her and doing all the DJing and the production. And that led to reaching out to more people and people reaching out to me. So I started doing like run clubs. I went to Home Depot and I built a DJ cart with my family, like, getting down and dirty in the garage. And I took it to one of the run club events that they had. It was like a free event in Hoboken. And a shout out to my guy, Gabe, one of Jazz's friends. He was dragging me around and I was just DJing on this run cart. I put my laptop on a stand we built. And I put my Everse 8 battery speaker, SM58 right into it. I got a Flex 2, so I had like a little travel controller. I zip tied it. I don't know if you're familiar with the Everse 8 like top plates. Like it's used a lot in ceremony, ceremony stuff.
We use those.
So instead of putting like the mic receiver on it, I zip tied my Flex 2 to the top of it. So I have my Flex 2 sitting on an Everse SM58 in, and then like I auxed out XLR into the Everse, and that was my little setup and a battery, like a little like battery pack for my laptop. And they were dragging me around Hoboken with like, I think they had like 100 girls come to this run, seriously. And Jazz's poll is amazing with her community. She always gets a bunch of people out. So this guy, Gabe, is just dragging me along and we're riding through Hoboken and I'm just DJing and I'm emceeing, hyping everyone up, showing everyone love. And from that, I got reached out to by other run clubs. I did a Brazilian run club. Shout out to Insight and my brother Davey. I did a New York run club at Randall's Island. A shout out to Guy with a Billionaire Run Club. If there's any more that I'm forgetting, I apologize. Gratify Fitness in New Jersey, I did their all women's fitness like kickoff summer event. Definitely a couple others in there that I can't remember off the top. But like we just started building this community around fitness and the private events. So then I started getting more bookings for weddings, started, doing more with the band production. We have our first lighting job that we're doing. Shout out to Sean. He got the job. We're doing a lighting production rig for like a band festival, like an indie band festival on August 1st. We're working with some cool brands. We just got a sponsorship by a big brand. I can't announce it yet, but I definitely will soon. A brand that all DJs know we all love and use. But it's just crazy, like the stuff that we were building is slowly building up and starting to get traction. Obviously, we're not huge yet. We don't have thousands of followers yet.
You're right where you guys belong.
Right.
You're crushing it. I got to tell you, again, it's just the energy that you have it matches who we are and what we're all about over here. And I absolutely adore what you're doing. I look forward to collaborating on events. I look forward to introducing you to some people in my sphere that you could help and do work with, especially in this space with the health and the wellness and some of the running clubs that I'm a part of and some of the fitness clubs that I'm a part of. So I definitely am going to work hard to kind of refer you in on that stuff as well.
I appreciate that. Yeah,
for sure. And we run parallel a little bit because Fresh New Angle, we are one of them event groups that focuses in the wedding space, the bar mitzvah space, the corporate space, and events, and the MC and the DJ and the photography and the video and the production. And I understand, and that's also what you do as well, which is great. And some people could say, well, no, we're making friends here.
Yeah,
we're making friends here because there's enough meat on the bone. There's enough opportunities to go around, and people need to know that there's a community in our space that actually likes each other, that works together, that isn't afraid to work with other businesses, that isn't afraid to say, oh yeah, I work with Chucky over there at Fresh New Angle. Oh yeah, I work with Nick, and I work with Feeney over there in the CF event group, and we're collaborating. We're teammates. And to be honest, I think it would be a treat. It will be a treat. You and I definitely need to team up on events.
Bro, the energy would be insane.
I mean, it would only be for the right people.
Yeah, like that's like a dynamic package.
We're gonna send them to the moon.
Yeah,
and they might not come back.
Yep,
for sure.
For sure.
And it's definitely something to be on the lookout for because I already know it's gonna happen.
Me
it's
too, 100%.
It's gonna happen. And I love your story. I get to see it and hear it, and I get to relive what it was like for me 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And it's really cool. And I want to encourage you to continue down this path, continue to, keep the main thing, which is, your faith, but your work ethic.
Yeah.
Your consistency.
Absolutely.
That health and wellness is amazing. And I appreciate you being able to stay consistent in an industry that is tempting and is tricky, but is beautiful.
Yeah.
And it can be done correctly.
Yeah.
And you're going to have longevity because of your health and wellness. You're going to have consistency. You're going to have reliability. You're going to have the ability to be counted on in the future. Whereas some people in our industry, they might be amazing and terrific, but the balloon could burst.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
The debt
100%.
that they could have from the excess lifestyle that they're looking to have, the things that you as a consumer won't know or won't see from said companies, right? All of a sudden, 5 years down the road, where did they go?
Right.
And that doesn't mean that they can't, sort of have these awakenings and make these changes because, in the industry, music and all, a lot of our brothers and sisters, they don't make it out of their 30s. They don't make it out of their 40s because of the lifestyle that they've chosen.
Yeah,
and
so
we don't want that to be us. Now, God can always have a plan.
Yeah.
And we don't always know the reason why. You could do everything right and still something happens.
Yeah.
But let's give ourselves the best possible chance.
Right, yeah.
So that we can give our bodies the best opportunity to succeed. And I'm inspired by you as well. You've sort of reignited me in the hope of the newer generation.
Right.
And know there are amazing people coming up the ranks.
Thank you.
That I know personally I want to be connected with because as Fresh New Angles brand continues to grow and expand, I need to be partnered with other amazing people that can keep their finger on the pulse of that next generation.
Yeah.
You're going to end up being 50 years old someday.
Yeah.
And you're never going to lose this energy or the spirit. I can tell you that. And when you're 50, I'm going to be 70-ish and still loving the industry.
We'll still be working
We're
together,
rocking
too.
it.
Yeah.
However, you're going to be wanting to do the same thing as me. Kind of connect with that next 21-year-old, that Feeney, right? That 24-year-old, that Nikki over here. And it's exciting. And, we could talk for hours.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, start to put a pin in this conversation.
Right.
It's only the first of many that
Absolutely,
we will have.
yeah.
I see us being able to connect and collaborate on a bigger scale as we continue to move and groove. But I want to kind of give you the opportunity to sort of like kind of get some closing remarks, if you will.
Yeah.
But again, it's a conversation between two people that love what we do and that seem to just love life and love people.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
First of all, it's amazing to be here. And I always just try and stay grateful for the position that I'm in. My dad, he started a company and his position was way different than mine. He was 30 something. He had kids. He had a mortgage. He was out on his own. I have the luxury of living at home with family who support me and starting a company. And sometimes when I'm going crazy and I'm thinking, oh, I got to make the next play. I got to get the next job. I kind of sit and realize, I should just be lucky for the situation that I'm in. And it kind of ties into success in life. The older that I've gotten, and of course I have a long way to go, the more I realize it's really the people that you have around you. And your circle and keeping the right squad with you, whether it's your friends, family, like the right people, that's what's going to take you there. That's what's going to take you to that next step, because you could be amazing at what you do. And if you're not getting the support around you, or if you're around people who don't believe in you, it makes it 1,000 times harder. So I'm just grateful for all the people around me. And I'm grateful that I realized who I should distance myself from at this age, because once you lock in and you focus on your career, family, health, good friends, like, there's not much to not be grateful for, you know?
And you hit the nail on the head again, and your wisdom at this age is lovely, and I totally love it, and I appreciate it, and I can also attribute it to faith. And I'm not gonna try to tell people how to believe, what to believe, but I can tell you that when I put my faith in God, for me, okay, that's the foundation. And then I believe that he works all things out for good. So I'm okay when the deal falls through.
Right.
I'm okay when the relationship goes south.
Right.
I'm okay when I make the tough decision and I have to move on from a friend group, or I have to move on from an employee or something to the effect, or an independent contractor or something to that effect. Because I got to believe that we're going to be rewarded in due time, in due season. We will reap the rewards for putting in the work. My pastor always says, be consistent.
Absolutely.
And you've got that going on. And also give yourself grace, right? When you make a boo-boo, when you fall, you have to forgive yourself. And then you also got to give grace to others.
Absolutely.
And, continue to lean in on that nucleus that you have, and then continue to seek out other amazing people, because life is all about relationships.
Absolutely, 100%.
You know that.
Yeah.
And everybody is amazing, even the ones that don't fit into our plan. But we need to just lead with love. We need to be consistent. And that's the definition of being a leader. And I'm always working toward that. 45 years old, right? We're still making boo-boos here and there. But we're still kind of course correcting and, focused on the main thing.
Yeah.
And I just want to say this is the start of something amazing.
Absolutely.
Between
I
us.
agree. Yeah.
And,
for sure.
it's been an honor getting to have this time with you. Thanks for taking the trip down.
Absolutely, man. Thank you.
We have much more to collaborate on.
Yep.
I would say to anybody who sees this, whether you see it or not, I don't care if one person sees it or 1 million people sees it. The bottom line is you're going to be seeing it at some point.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
CF Event Group and Fresh New Angle Events. I love you, brother.
Love you too, man.
Thank
I
you so much
appreciate
for
you
this
for
time.
having me, of course.
Let's go.
Let's do it.